Welcome back. Every year, high school football squads must replace graduated seniors on their depth charts. But sometimes those aren't the only new names in town. 5 of our local squads changed head coaches for the 2012 season. So let's take a look at the new men in charge. We start in Oscoda, where Dave Levasseur enters his first year with the Owls. Levasseur moved north after coaching at Essexville, Garber, and Freeland. And the new head Owl says he's excited for the challenge.
Yeah, everything's kind of just flying by a million miles an hour, and you just got to try to throw the brakes on as much as you can. But it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. We just kind of jumped in, everybody both feet, and got after it. And it looks pretty good right now.
Bill Yorth is taking the reins down in Hale, and while he may be the new man in charge, Yorth is not new to the program. And he says he's already been able to get a lot more out of his players this year.
You're kind of a salesman. You're selling a product, and you've got to hope that the kids buy into it. And so far, the kids have bought in. It's a whole new attitude on the field, and they're working harder, they're hitting harder. I can tell you, it's a completely different attitude than I've ever seen here.
In Atlanta, the Huskies are on their 3rd coach in 2 seasons. Todd Kendrick took over for Melvin Skillman late last year, but now Troy Cheedy is in charge. And the Huskies say the former Atlanta assistant is changing things for the better.
Last year, the coaches were off to the side. You know, they were there driving us, telling us what to do, but they weren't pushing us to do it, you know. This year, he's on our back, everything we do, you know. He's got enthusiasm just like every other player on the team.
There's another assistant getting a promotion in Onaway, where Brian Whitsitt is taking over. And after inheriting a winning program from 2011, Whitsitt hopes to continue moving the Cardinals forward.
We turned the corner last year, had our first winning record in 4 years. I feel we're going in the right direction, so I didn't want to change much. I'm tweaking little things, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
And finally, there's a new head Huron in Rogers City. Tim Nagy is taking over after serving as an assistant at Gaylord last season. And while low numbers took some getting used to for the new head honcho, he says there's also a silver lining to a small roster.
I was a little apprehensive at first with the low numbers and everything. I'm used to being in a bigger program, but I figured there'd be some benefits, and one of those was to be able to get up close and personal with the kids, and been able to do that.
As you just heard, there will be a new head man roaming the sidelines here in Rogers City this fall, but that's not the only change the Hurons are facing. After going winless a year ago in the Straits Area Conference, RC is making a move to the Ski Valley, where there will be no shortage of competition in 2012. In Rogers City, there's nowhere to go but up. After going 0-9 a year ago, the Hurons are staying positive and have high hopes for 2012.
We got a lot more confidence this year than I think we ever did last year, so we're just a lot more prepared already, and then just excited to get out there.
I'm very positive. I don't think a lot of people are expecting too much out of us, but we're going to be competitive. We're going to scare some people, surprise a lot of people.
Johannesburg Lewiston rolled through the regular season with just 1 blemish to their record last fall before being bounced by Beale City in pre-districts. The 2012 Cardinals have a veteran-laden squad that includes senior Mitch Hardy, who rushed for over 1,300 yards a season ago. And it is that experience that Joburg plans on using to build on last year's success.
We have a pretty veteran group, and you know, they've been anxious to get started. We have quite a few seniors this year, so they've been through it a few times before, and they're pretty fired up for the season. They like football over here at Johannesburg Lewiston, and they're planning on trying to go farther than they did last year.
The Cards lost a key part of last year's offense with the graduation of Brian Van Coyley, who accounted for 14 TDs in 2011. But Bush believes this year's team will have no problem picking up the slack.
I feel real confident. You know, we've had these kids for, like I said, quite a few years. I've watched these kids grow up, and it's a great bunch of kids. We lose a great bunch of kids from last year, but you know what? The tradition continues, and this is a great senior group. I anticipate a pretty big year.
Losing 11 seniors to graduation and adding a first-year head coach doesn't really seem like a recipe for success, but that isn't shaking the Cardinals' confidence up in Onaway. The Cards are coming off their first winning regular season since 2006, including ending the year on a 3-game winning streak. And after narrowly missing the playoffs a year ago, the squad is using that as motivation to get to where they want to be this season.
I had some of the boys over at the house when we were watching they come onto the screen there, and we didn't get it. You know, there were some sad faces. These returning seniors and kids that had played on it last year, they've got the drive for it. You know, they're talking about it more than as the coaches having to push them about it.
We know we can do a lot better than last year. We lost a couple games in the beginning of the season. We should have won. But we're going to go out hard this year.
And with Sigsbee returning to the backfield after 1,000 yards rushing a year ago, there should be no shortage of production from the Cardinals offense.
People that's paid attention from last year, they'll know Jason. He's a human highlight reel. You know, the kid's phenomenal running the ball.
I got to work a lot harder this year, and it started in the off season in the weight room, working on my speed, and I want to do a lot better this season. I know they're going to be coming out for me, but if I work harder than they do, then I'll come out on top.
Stick around, because coming up after the break, it's all about the Stars. First, we'll take a trip to the North Star League, and then we'll give you some players you won't want to miss this season.